Hi, today I want to talk about ADHD, behavior therapy, medication, nutrition, and exercise. A big, heavy, long topic with big, heavy, loaded topics that I will further talk about individually in future blogs, but right now I'm just going to kind of introduce this whole package together and how I've used those so far with my teenagers that have been diagnosed with ADHD in the last year and a half. So, when we were in the process of getting the diagnosis, which I was kind of trying to turn every rock first before I would have a definite diagnostic. The doctor said, yeah, it really looks like it's ADHD for both teens. You're going to have to fill out questionnaires. The teachers will have to fill out questionnaires. We're going to have to talk to this person, that person. But in the meantime, we can try the medication. And if it works, it looks like it could be ADHD and blah, blah, blah. So I went, whoa, no. I want to make sure other things are taken care of before you put my teens on medication. I think I had a good gut feeling about this. So I was able to look at other things before having my teens taking medication for ADHD. So when this whole process, it took a couple months before we got a final verdict, if I can say that. I don't like to use that term, by the way, but just for sake of time right now, I will say it like that. But so when we were in this process, my teenagers with ADHD were going through crisis. I knew they were in their teenage crisis as well, but it was just a little more than that. So I thought maybe I can look at behavior therapy. I had sort of learned about it, but I was just like, I just want those behaviors to stop. I want to have peace in my home. I want to have more control as a single parent, because I was a single parent at that time when we started. So I did my research and I stumbled upon the Total Transformation Program by James Lehman. It's a program that I purchased and I have absolutely high reviews about it. I'm a big fan, and I have, within a couple days, we saw results. Were they perfect? No, that was not the perfect program, because nobody's perfect, right? But I saw results and I got my mojo back as a mom. I was like, yes, I can do this. And I actually, it was helping my teens, but it was also helping me as a parent to be a better parent for my teens and not my ideal teens in my head that I had. And so we applied the principles and it helped. It was still not quite perfect. And at one point, an incident happened and it kind of catapulted us into seeing a psychiatrist and a psychologist, and it just like sped up the process. And I could see at that time, even though that behavioral therapy was helping in general, it was just not enough. Both my teens, I think, were in crisis at that time, and it just needed a little more. So I then agreed, after seeing the professionals, I then agreed that medication would probably be a good idea at that point. And of course, you see results right away. It helps a lot when you're in a crisis mode, and it brings this kind of finally, it's like, when you give pain medication or fever medication when your kid has a fever, you're just relieved that the temperature goes down to back to normal type of thing. But although it helps, it's very temporal, or temporary, and it's not going to cure anything, that's for sure, and it's not going to change behaviors per se. You can see the child being a bit more focused and things like that. Yes, it's not perfect again, but and you really have to go with the flow as far as knowing what works, what doesn't work. But as a foundation, I find that behavior therapy is by far something that every parent must have and must learn about when they are dealing with a child or a teenager with ADHD. I think it's the foundation of everything. Good old parenting, by the way. So again, I give more details in my blog. I give references and things like that. So also the nutrition part of it. Some people say, well, nutrition doesn't really have any scientific proof that it works and things like that. I mean, it's known that some food sensitivities are displaying ADHD or mimicking ADHD symptoms. And so therefore, I think it's very important that you look into that category as well. If your child is allergic or sensitive to food, it can trigger inflammation and it can trigger, the brain will react to it on a physical level. And so it's very important to look into that and make sure that you give the proper nutrition for your child. I have to say, my teens didn't give a rip about nutrition at that time. They were like, they were so much in a crisis mode that nutrition was not my first priority at that point. I just wanted to have things more stabilized, and then now we are at a point where a year and a half later where my teens are asking about this, and they realize as well that nutrition has a big impact on their well-being, spirit, soul, body, and emotionally as well. So do not discount nutrition. It's really, really important. And the exercise part of it, well, we all know exercise is a great way to release stress, to get dopamine and all that good stuff that it brings. It's common sense. We know a lot about it now. And it's also something that my teens, I'm fortunate enough to have two teens that are dedicated to be physically active. One is more consistent than the other, but both of them have told me I am much better when I do exercise. So I strongly encourage them to keep active that way, and it helps. It helps a lot. It helps in the focus. It releases whatever needs to be released, and it just brings many good things. So, so there you go. That's my quick briefing about these topics. If you want to read more, just go to katsiabruce.wordpress.com for my weekly blog, and I talk in more details there. As I said earlier, I have references and things like that. And also you can follow me on Facebook, Katsia Bruce RHN, and on Instagram at Katsia Bruce, and on Twitter at Katsia Bruce RHN. So I'm trying to get those on a regular basis, the vlogs. My blogs are every week, and I just want to have a conversation started. I don't want to be the only one talking, so I encourage your comments and I encourage your input. Ask me questions, whatever. I'm open to anything. We are still in the process of going through this whole thing about ADHD. It's a new thing for us in a way. And yeah, so you're welcome back. Subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye.